Good evening and thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Yvonne Okwara Matole. Our sign language interpreter is Meresha Owiti. 1.15 billion shillings. It's a staggering number, right? Now that is enough to pay for the school fees of over 800,000 primary school children for 1 year. Yet, this is what is extorted from hundreds of thousands of hawkers and informal traders in Nairobi every year. Many of these people earn 10,000 shillings or less every month. An Africa Uncensored investigation has established just who is involved in the extortion ring. City inspectorate officers who should be protecting these very same people. They do it with impunity, almost as if it is their job to collect these bribes. Who are they and how do they collect these bribes? We're about to answer that question in the second part of this investigation, Kanjo Kingdom. It comes to you tonight with John Alanamu right after this news broadcast, only on KTN News. Here's what to expect.
We showed you how much an extortion and bribery ring run by officers from Nairobi City Inspectorate makes from informal traders. Every year, that is 1,152,000,000 shillings in bribes, or $11.5 million.
I have not had such kind of specific case.
Please stay tuned with us for more on that. That's later on at the end of this broadcast. Now, both President Uhuru Kenyatta and Central Bank Governor Patrick Njoroge have moved to reassure Kenyans that there is no cause for concern over the recent developments in the banking sector. The president said that although Dubai Bank, Imperial and now Chase Bank have been put under receivership, their customers will not lose their money. And as Chris Thairu reports, the president expressed confidence in the central bank governor's efforts to streamline the sector.
For the past 3 days, panic, confusion and anxiety has gripped Kenyans who bank with Chase Bank after it was put under receivership. And as the CID continue interrogating some of the directors of the bank, President Uhuru Kenyatta has now moved in to reassure Kenyans that their money is safe.
Tusiwe na hofu. Banking system yetu iko imara, it is firm. Tutahakikisha ya kwamba wale wananchi ambao wameweka pesa zao katika hizo institutions watakuwa protected na pesa yao haitapotea.
If we reopen this bank, which is our intention, our objective, then reopening it will mean that they will get their money as soon as possible. And that's the objective. So we are unwavering in terms of where we are going. And this is the context that for the discussions that we are having with the potential suitors and so forth. So I hope that clarifies.
The president, who was speaking in Thika, Kiambu County, where he had attended a Sunday service, supported the cleanup exercise of the banking sector, stating that it is high time to strengthen and remove weaknesses in the country's banking system.
Nakubaliana na governor tumempatia uhuru wa kuhakikisha ya kwamba wale ambao wanafikiria ya kwamba biashara ya benki ni biashara ya kunonesha mifuko yao wajue ya kwamba siku hizo zimeisha.
We will avail a facility to any bank or microfinance institution that comes under pressure, under liquidity pressures arising from no fault of their own.
Amani National Coalition leader Musalia Mudavadi, who once served as Minister for Finance, stated that the streamlining process is long overdue and that Central Bank of Kenya should restore Kenyans' confidence in the banking sector.
If the financial sector crumbles, it becomes a serious security problem in any country. It's a very serious matter. So it should not just be looked at that somebody has lost his deposit. Somebody who has lost his deposit can commit suicide.
Already the CAD has interrogated 2 directors of a Chase Bank saga, with 2 other directors of National Bank of Kenya confirming that they will surrender to the police Monday morning, while the whereabouts of 4 other directors remain unknown. Meanwhile, President Uhuru Kenyatta and other leaders affiliated to Jubilee Coalition have welcomed the decision by ICC to set free his deputy William Ruto and journalist Joshua Arap Sang, maintaining that it was a clear indication that all the 6 suspects were innocent.
Mimi najua ya kwamba ni maombi ya Wakenya, maombi ya mamilioni ya Wakenya ambaye imetusaidia kufika pahali ambapo tumefika.
Sisi kama Jubilee sasa ni kuchapa kazi, ni kufanyia Wanakenya kazi mpaka tutimize ahadi zote ambaye tuliambia Wakenya tutafanya.
The Jubilee leaders are expected to attend a Thanksgiving ceremony at Afra Stadium in Nakuru, where they are also expected to announce the way forward ahead of the 2017 general elections. Chris Dairo, KTN News.
Now, it has been a week of celebration for the Jubilee Coalition following the termination of the case against Deputy President William Ruto and journalist Joshua Arap Sang at the International Criminal Court. But whether the ruling marks the end of Kenya's quest to pull out of the ICC is another matter altogether.
No sooner had the Uhuru Ruto camp lifted the 2013 trophy than the Jubilee Brigade trailed their guns proper at The Hague for what would in the next 3 years be a nasty war of words with the International Criminal Court, demanding for the country's total pullout from the Rome Statute over the crimes against humanity trial that was at the time facing President Uhuru Kenyatta and his deputy William Ruto.
The war with ICC is not ending any time soon, because if we have to continue engaging with ICC, we have to engage in new terms.
So they'd like to prove that ICC is dead and see the coffin of ICC lowered and burned.
But with the country's head of state and his deputy now technically free from the jaws of the ICC, analysts argue that the ruling coalition is caught in a dilemma whether to advance in its plans to divorce the ICC, since the Uhuru Ruto predicament at The Hague, which saw the top Jubilee leadership marshal the African Union to walk out en masse from the ICC, is now out of the picture.
Sisi mwaka huu tutarudi tena Assembly of State Parties, lakini haja yetu tunaenda na amendments ya kubadilisha ICC ndio isiendelee kuwa kangaroo court.
The battle with ICC goes on because the Kenyan people, through their representatives, constitutionally lodged a motion before the national parliament.
ICC, we are giving you a window. Talk to Kenya, negotiate with Kenya, and you are going to survive. But if you don't negotiate with Kenya, I can assure you, once that motion comes to parliament, we are going to pass it.
But even after Ruto and Sang walked free earlier this week, 3 Kenyans stand accused of interfering with prosecution witnesses. These are journalist Walter Barasa, lawyer Paul Gisheru, and casual laborer Philip Bett. But unlike during the Ocampo 6 trial, the 3 who have arrest warrants hanging over their necks seem unassured of any government assistance to battle their trials.
Bensuda wachane kujaribu kusema nishikiwe watu watatu ati wali interfere with witnesses. We must tell her, forget about following Gisheru, Bett, na ule journalist mwingine Barasa, wachana nao watu, kwa sababu kesi ilianguka si kwa sababu ya hawa, ni kwa sababu kesi haikuwa.
But I think ICC will be logical enough to also terminate the summons that they have issued to Baraza and the other 2 Kenyans.
Give those people every legal support ya kuhakikisha kwamba they are not oppressed in another country.
Early this year, the African Union adopted President Kenyatta's roadmap for withdrawal from the ICC without any amendment, a stance that reflected the continent's opposition to the ICC handling of the Kenyan cases, while many argue that Kenya's petition at the Assembly may have been the key factor that persuaded the appeals chamber to block the prosecution from using recanted evidence in the Ruto Sang case.
Our being there, our continued support for the Rome statue needs to be relooked.
Na kesho kutwa na kesho ingine, je, tukichagua wrong president, what will happen? What will happen? Kanisa nauliza. Na naona wajumbe wenzangu wanacheza tu, tutoke Rome statute. How?
Muremi Mwangi, KTN News, Nairobi.
Now, on Thursday last week during our 9 p.m. news bulletin, we inadvertently showed the picture of the immediate former Law Society CEO Apollo Mboya in relation to the ICC witness interference saga. The use of the picture may have given the false impression that Mr. Mboya was among those being sought by the court over these crimes. The correct position is that Apollo Mboya has never been linked to these claims and is therefore not being sought by the International Criminal Court over this or any other matter. We regret this error and wish to apologize to Mr. Mboya for the embarrassment and anguish it may have caused him. Nairobi Governor Dr. Evans Kidero maintains that public service vehicles will be restricted to 4 minutes within the central business district. The governor said even outside the CBD, the public transport operators will only be allowed up to a maximum of 20 minutes to pick or drop their passengers.
We will only allow or reissue in the gazetted parking lots. Not where? No more. Fangano Street is not going to be a parking lot. Luthuli Avenue is not going to be a parking lot. Tomboya Street is not going to be a parking lot. And from tomorrow, anybody found parking on the street, the vehicle will be towed.
Environmentalists in Kenya are now forced to contend with a new phenomena in the wake of rising cases of human-wildlife conflict. Farmers are setting up wire snares to protect their livestock from wild animals straying from protected areas.
The snare as a simple killing machine is almost perfect, cheap and easy to set up. In Africa, the snare is typically the length of a wire ending in a loop formed by a slip knot. This form of trapping animals is, however, turning out to be a nightmare.
Snaring is one of the major problems all over because the communities who are living around the park sometimes sneak into the park and put on the snares and then they go away. So, and this snares is not selective, so it can kill. They initially maybe were put there to capture some small games like gazelles and all this kind. But now it captures anything. We have seen it captured hyenas. We've seen it capture lions. So it's not selective. It killed several animals, and because of that, the bushmeat crisis came up.
In most cases, poaching has always been done using guns, but conservationists are alarmed over the setting up of snares that are now equally dangerous.
Snaring and the use of arrows is also a serious problem, only that these are silent, and they're used mainly targeting smaller animals, which so many people may not necessarily notice. Elephants also are victims of the snares. In cases of people getting arrested and sentenced, sometimes very, very lean sentences, most of damage will already have occurred. Animals will have gone through very, very painful death.
With a straight end fastened to a tree or rock, the loop is opened and placed in the path of an animal. The snare becomes ruthlessly effective. And when the animal is snared, tension within the loop slides the knot along the wire, pulling the loop tight. The wire is often wound around the neck, waist or leg. The more the tension, the more the loop tightens. In most cases, the trap causes severe injuries to the animal as it tries to disentangle. Very few can survive the snare. Joint efforts by the Kenya Wildlife Service and the Born Free Foundation have started bearing fruits. Over 1,600 snares at the vast Meru National Park were removed.
Kuna njia nyingine ya kutoa kama iko na hii nafasi na hii unaisukuma hii kidogo inakuwa kidogo unaipitishia katikati.
So we've seen that there's a decline also with areas where we've done the snaring. We don't really find snares being set up again. The people outside there are now talking to us. They're calling us and telling us that in case there's somebody who they think that is trying to come into the park to set up snares. So they're calling us. So that means that they're good signs, and we are winning the war.
Dorcas Wangera, KTN News, Meru County.
Lindsay FC suffered their first league defeat of the season after going down 1-0 to Posta Rangers at the Nyayo Stadium. In another match, Wycliffe Ochomo fired Muhoroni Youth past Bandari with a 1-0 win over the Dockers at Muhoroni Stadium in a match that witnessed its fair share of controversy.
Hosts Muhoroni Youth began the match with much gusto with strikes from their forwards in the early exchanges. After a barren draw in the first half, the second half saw the style of play of both sides change. All was well until the 64th minute when Bandari defender Edwin Wafula clashed with Muhoroni's Yusuf Mohammed in the danger zone. What ensued later was exchange of words from the players, with Bandari goalkeeper Wilson Obungu clashing with Muhoroni Youth striker Wycliffe Ochomo. The anarchy between the two did not end here, and they continued hitting at each other even after the restart. However, all that did not stop Ochomo from penning his name in the score sheet as he shook the net in the 68th minute.
Yeah, they should be sportsmen. What they are doing will not help them in the future. Na hakuna timu ambayo imekuja hapa ijalia.
Daktari anatembea kwa uwanja, players wanaanguka bila kuguswa. Mtu ananipiga, watu ukiangalia sura yangu, mtu ananigwara, mtu ananipiga kichwa. Photo visual anaona, maybe referee kwa siku yake kwa.
Hiyo style yangu ya play. Mtu akipata injury mbona sianguke? Siku na daktari yuko nje. Na kana ongoza lazima nitafuta injury yangu ya kuzuia. So siwezi cheza style yao kweli. Lazima nicheze style yangu ile mimi naelewa.
I'm very worried about officiating in the Kenya Premier League. Sometimes it's challenging because for the last 4 to 5 matches I've been having problem, not only when my team is playing.